Hello, my name is Sheyi Fabi. I welcome you to our another series, another edition of our GIS lecture series. Today we are on lecture series number 21, and we want to continue on this season topic, the topic for this season, which is Enterprise GIS for Urban Administration. Last lecture, we defined what is urban administration, and we look extensively on the description of enterprise GIS. Today, we want to look at how we can use enterprise GIS to achieve urban administration. Urban administration has three major critical pillars or critical stages. The critical pillars of urban administration are land administration, which include all the things that govern the land tenure systems, land policy, land management, parcel-based management, which include land surveying, which include parcel boundary management, which include the land transactions, the laws that guide land transaction, land governance, all these things that include the ownership of land, inheritance of land, land tenure system, land ownership, land transaction, mortgage, and all sort of collateral policies that guide inheritance, transference, and all those things about the land, because urban administration depend on land. Everything in urban systems depend on land. So land governance is very, very critical. It's one of the pillars of urban administration. And this governance can benefit extensively on enterprise GIS, because the property boundary management can benefit from enterprise GIS, so that there will be no double allocation of land in urban area, so that there can be no discrepancies in land ownership, there will be no controversy, there will be no legal tussles about land management, so that the boundaries are properly set and properly gazetted and properly managed. The second pillar of urban administration is the physical planning or urban planning. Urban planning is very, very critical, and that one include the pressure of master plan, can be a comprehensive master plan, it can be a planning scheme for a given area, it can be a development plan for a given area, it can be a layout plan for a given area, it can be a strategic plan, it can be a structural plan for a given area, and also the physical planning also include development control, and also what is involved, the process of approval, of granting approval to private developers, the process of submitting plans and getting it approved for a particular land use, which must follow the already prepared master plan or planning scheme, which has gazetted a particular area for maybe for residential, so that only residential development plan will be approved for that area. The third pillar of urban administration is urban systems administration. That is management of systems. The last lecture, I mentioned that urban system is a system of systems, because we have the road network transport system, transportation systems, we have the commercial systems, we have residential systems, we have the drainage network, we have the uh, uh, industrial sector, industrial systems, we have the market. All these ones, they are systems within systems. And also we have people that manage the system. So when you have this management of system interrelationship, that interdependencies of all these systems in a given urban area, that is a critical pillar in urban administration. Until all these pillars are properly managed and properly integrated, then we cannot have effective urban administration. So EGIS, enterprise GIS can be deployed to function in these three critical pillars. And we are going to take them step by step. We are going to handle them as we go. Enterprise GIS is an architecture that integrates all these systems when it is properly deployed into these critical pillars. Then we can now have effective urban administration. But what we have seen, many developing countries, especially Nigeria, have deployed what we call urban GIS. Urban GIS, we have different types of urban GIS projects have been implemented. And what we observed is that the main focus of all these projects is to deploy money, to throw money at these projects and to buy huge machine, huge software, spend expensive software. So to the extent that some smaller cities are afraid of embarking on enterprise GIS. But I want to tell us that with the development in technology, with the advancement in technology recently, you don't need to invest heavily before you can deploy EGIS in urban administration. What is very, very critical in the deployment of EGIS to urban administration is expertise. You need to invest in expertise, critical skill development. You need critical skill sets to deploy EGIS for urban administration. You may invest hugely in acquiring data. You may spend hugely in acquiring machines, computer systems, or you invest heavily. But until you train personnel, you cannot effectively deploy EGIS. And if you have the right expertise, if you have the right skill set, you can actually spend less on hardware and software. With the recent development in hardware and software, people are using open source packages. And instead of investing heavily on on-site server, people are now buying space in cloud hosting so that you can achieve enterprise GIS with limited budget. But we are going to talk about that one in subsequent lecture on how you can actually deploy enterprise GIS with limited resources, financial resources. The most important thing is to have the skill set and to have the determination, the commitment, and enthusiasm to be able to pursue the achievement and the attainment of EGIS, deployment of EGIS in all the critical sectors in among the urban gatekeepers. So we are going to look at physical planning. One of the area that benefit mainly in the physical planning section is the approval of plans. Approval of plans. In a typical setting, there is procedure to get private development approved. Before you can build, then the town planning office must receive your plan, your plan proposal, your development plan proposal. When they see the development plan proposal, they investigate, they look at it vis-a-vis the planning scheme or the master plan for the area before they can approve. So in most Nigerian town planning offices. These are some of the procedure. We are going to run through the procedure. Later, we are going to take step by steps on how GIS can benefit or can help in achieving some of those stages. Once you obtain the planning, you obtain the plan and the form, which is development plan process, the approval processing form. Then the client or the agent of the client submit development or building application proposal to the town planning office or the zonal town planning office. After that, the planning officer in the zonal town planning office will evaluate the document to ensure that the document contain the following: application form, survey plan, location sketch, site analysis report, floor plan in case of more than one floor, section drawing, elevation, front, left side, right side and back, foundation plan and roof plans, septic tank drawing, structural engineering drawings, copies of environmental impact assessment if required, in case of when it is required, any other recommended document depending on the state you are in. After that, the plan assessment calculation and verification by planning officer. The planning officer, the town planning officer will calculate the assessment, the fees to be paid to the government, and then they will send the payment schedule to the applicant. When they send the payment schedule to the applicant, the the town planning officer will now look for the location verification of site. That is, they do what we call it charting. Most planning offices they call it charting. That is, they want to know what is the location of the proposed building, and they want to know this location vis-a-vis a lot of things, whether it's a government acquisition area or whether somebody has submitted a plan for that area before, or what is the land use approved for that area. If the area is dedicated or demarcated for residential area and the client or the developer is submitting for industrial, they will deny such proposal, and then it will require also that the site officer or the inspector go to the field with the client and to verify. Then we have the charting and verification to cross-check if the development plan is in line with the master plan or planning scheme or the layout that have been developed in case in terms of the government layout. And then they will print out location map for site inspection, and then they do site inspection by the field inspector, who is a town planner in the town planning, zonal town planning office or whichever office. And then they will now write, the inspector will go to the field, and when he gets to the field, verify that the location is exactly as it is. He identified the setbacks, whether the setback to the river is in order, the setback to the road is okay. And after that, the site inspector will come to the office and write his report to his recommending officer. The recommending officer look at the plan and also look at the building codes and all the regulations, whether the plan is in order. And then after that, he can now approve the plan or reject the approval. And after that, you now send the approval after they have stamped, and they can now give it to the officer in charge, to the officer in charge to give to the client that the building plan has been approved, and then they can archive it in their database. These are the procedure. But how can we achieve this? The first thing we want to see is that when a coordinate is given, when a survey plan is given, the charting is done by comparing with the plan, with a big plan. With a big plan, usually paper plan. If you go to many of the town planning offices, you have paper plan. they have paper plan, they do charting on a paper map. But the deployment of enterprise GIS will enable them to do online verification of the location and charting. And we are going to look at, as I said before, you don't need to invest heavily in some of the expensive GIS software like ArcGIS, like others, Idrisi, some of the packages that are very, very expensive. And some of them, even that when you want to do ArcGIS online, the payment yearly is outside the uh, above the spending limit of many zonal town planning officers. But one of the things we can use Google Earth to cross-check the location of that uh, of the of the site, so that you do your charting using Google Earth. Another way you can use QGIS. QGIS is an open source GIS software. In my previous lecture series, I've shown how we can download QGIS, the latest version of QGIS, and you can use these packages to do your mapping. We are going to just look at something that you can do your charting as a sort of the hands-on, because I want to make sure that any of our lecture we have at least one small hands-on on that lecture. So let's say you have installed your QGIS on your system. So you just load the QGIS, and there are so many plugins of QGIS. Some of these plugins enables you to go into to do some other scripts, other packages that have been developed that are not part of generic QGIS, that can help you to do what you want to do. One of the things is lat long. Lat long is a script that enables you to at least locate to enable you to locate uh, to do some packages uh, to allow you to do lat long tool. If you don't have that, how to install this plugin is that you go to you have to be online before you can do that. If you are online, then you can go to plugin, you go to manage and install plugin, and then here you can select lat long, and where you can type lat long, lat long tool, and then you install. Because I've installed, that is why it's saying you can uninstall or you reinstall. But if you are just coming newly to it, you can just say install, and once you install, then you can have this plugin among the plugins you have. And under the plugin, you can actually use this one as zoom to coordinate. Another thing you can do is that you can also install a plugin that we call Street View. If you click on Street View, it enables you to go to OpenStreet in the OpenStreet in the QGIS. Look at OpenStreetMap. OpenStreet. The moment you load the OpenStreetMap, it will come to this page, and you can drag it to this side, so that you are now in the world map that gives you the OpenStreet. So if you come to this lat long will give you, once you click on, when you select the lat long tool and you come to zoom to coordinate, it gives you here. So let's say the coordinate is the coordinate of one of our area in the field work. We have a coordinate of 7 degree 26 minutes 20.18 second, and 4 degree 0 minute 30.21 second. And when we convert it to the decimal degree, then it gives us we have The latitude is 7.433.056. And then you say comma. Then longitude is 4.0033. So we'll say enter. Oh, sorry, point. So it will take you to that point. That point is somewhere in Ibadan, and that's the location. And you can see, if you are given the survey plan and you have this map, you have the street network. See the location of the place, and then you can go directly to the location, and then you can do many things on this point. So when you go to the field, when you want to do your charting, instead of using big map, you can just go to QGIS. QGIS is free, and then you enter the coordinate that you read from the survey plan, and then once you read it, and then you can load it there, and then it will give you the location. Zoom, you use the zoom to coordinate, and once you click enter, then it will give you that the location of the land. So you can see that whether the land is within the approval area or is close to the location is close to the river, is close to the road, or the other way around. You can also overlay some of the data you have. If you have a scheme, you have planning scheme, you can overlay it here so that you can see whether it falls within your scheme. Next lecture, we are going to continue on this channel to tell us more about how we can utilize different software, open source software. We are going to concentrate more on open source software, because the major thing we want to look at is how we can achieve urban administration, how we can deploy electronic enterprise GIS with limited budget. You can subscribe to this channel, and I believe you are going to enjoy this series of lecture that we are going to have in the next few days. Thank you, and God bless.